Welcome to In Heels with Keni Silva. And today's guest is an amazing woman who built her career in a fashion rental space where girls like me can wear an amazing gowns for a fraction of the fee. Welcome, Jeanette Mandel.
Oh, thank you for having me, Keni. It's so good to see you always. So beautiful.
Thank you so much. And thank you for always allowing me to wear all those amazing, not just dresses and gowns, just a whole wardrobe putting together. But how did you actually get to that place? How did you start? Was it always something you wanted to do?
You know, I was always in love with fashion. I grew up with a mother who was impeccably dressed, even just going to the grocery store. Like, she would put on her red lipstick, her Chanel flats, and a scarf. Like, she was always put together. And I always admired her. I was like, when does she have time to always get ready just to go to the grocery store? So it was always in my blood, right? I've always had somebody in my family that I looked up to when it came to fashion. It was her. So I learned a lot from her. I was inspired by her. So, you know, I grew up even like as a young girl working, not going out and, you know, having a boyfriend or going out with my friends, working in fashion, even at a very young age, like 14, 13, just to buy the newest trends that were out there. Like Benetton was huge. Contempo casual was pretty big back then. And it was something I was so enamored by. I just loved wearing beautiful clothes. Not because I wanted to show off. It just made me feel connected with fashion. It just always made me feel more confident, I would say. And then, you know, throughout the years, I never really decided to go into fashion because growing up from a very Asian family, immigrant family, my dad was like, no, fashion is not where you're going to be successful. He's like, I didn't come here and raise you in the States and just gave up everything in Korea so that you could be in fashion. You need to be a doctor, you need to be an accountant, a lawyer, you know, typical like parents. So I didn't pursue my dream. It was just not the right time, I would say. Mm-hmm. I knew the time would come. It just wasn't the right time. Then finally, I would say...
So wait, so who you were before you started your fashion true career?
Yes. And I said to myself, I know I'm going to be there one day.
So who you became first? Who was your parents' choice to be?
I think my parents wanted me to be a successful professional. Okay. They didn't understand fashion, right? And I was lost at a young age. Do I want to make money and be successful? Or do I want to pursue my dreams? I did what my parents wanted, right? You always do what your parents want, right? You're young.
I have a business degree. My parents wanted it.
Yeah, exactly.
But I helped out, actually.
It does help. I have a finance degree and it helps. However, I wasn't happy. Yeah. So anytime I would go and, you know, apply for a job, it was like, oh, it's just another job that's going to pay my bills. Then eventually I
think also our generation was raised that work is not something that brings you happiness. No. It just pays your bills.
And they say, you have to be married at a certain age. And I was like, that stuck to me because I said, I want to pursue my dreams, which is in fashion. And then my parents were like, when are you going to get married? You're the oldest one. Actually, I was probably the last one that got married. I'm the oldest of three. And my sister got married very early. I got married like 10 years later than she did. And I got married like 35, 36. Had my first at 37, which was not even planned. It just happened out of nowhere. But yeah, I became a mom. You know, we become moms, and then sometimes your dreams have to be put on hold, right? Because you have to be a mom first, especially when you have children. So, of course, family was built. I got married, had kids really quickly because I was getting older. Then just it dawned on me. I'm like, okay, if I'm not going to pursue fashion degree in fashion or some sort of fashion element, I want to be an influencer. So back then, I started Instagram when literally it was just popping, like 2005,
wow,
2006.
I didn't know that about you.
I'm
That's
telling
an
you
interesting
something.
fact.
Telling you things you don't know.
Okay.
Yeah. And I hated it. I did not like to be in front of the camera. I love the fashion part of styling, you know, and looking like I style myself and I'm like, oh, this is different. I feel confident in it. But I didn't like taking photos. It was like a chore. And I didn't really understand why I was posting it on Instagram. Who am I showing? You know, what am I trying to prove? Back then, everybody was starting, right? So like it wasn't as big as it is now. It's not a platform where you can make money. It was not like that when I started. So I kind of gave up. I was like, this is not for me. I feel like I'm spending a lot more money than I'm supposed to make money. And at that time, my husband was like, just do what you want. The kids are getting older.
But he was supportive of
He
you,
was very supportive.
which is amazing because, as you know, for a lot of women, they struggle with that support.
Correct. Because, you know, for him, he's like, I need you to have another outlet so that you could be a better mom and you could be a better
Wow,
wife.
he's an amazing husband.
He was, and he worked a lot too. But he said, I always want you to be happy so that you could be happy for your kids
Plus,
and the
it's
family.
an example for your children too.
Exactly. Well, they were so young. They were like 2 or 4. You know, and I've always ran a business before becoming an influencer, actually at an early age, developing more in design. I think that's where it led me to be where I am. I was designing niche market products like pet carriers, diaper bags. My dad was in the manufacturing business. So, you know, I just designed a couple products. It took off. But again, I had kids, so I couldn't really devote the time that it needed back then to pursue those 2 businesses. So, you know, I have a silent partner now that's running it. But, you know, again, when you become mom, you're busy. You know, your focus is on your kids, you know, especially when they're very young. Then this business, Jeanette Mandel, happened just out of nowhere, just like sitting on the couch with my husband. He's like, what should we do? You know, he didn't want to work anymore in his family business. So he sold his shares. We traveled a lot with the kids for 2 years. And then finally we're like, okay, we just can't keep traveling and spending our own money, right? Like we need to find another source of income. So he's like, I would love to start a family business with you. You know, you're a business oriented woman. I come from a family business of like 50 years. Let's put our brains together and try to find something for us to make money and be happy. I was like, okay, I'm going back to work now. I just had kids, you know, they're getting older. I did not think that we were going to back to work. And I didn't even think about how is it going to be working with my husband.
Yes, because it's a whole different story because then the work
God.
becomes 24 hours. There's no
It
separation.
never sleeps. Your business never sleeps, right? Like there's no boundaries.
Exactly.
You're talking about it at dinner, at home, in the car. And that was getting really stressful for me because I love boundaries. Like I love hanging out with my friends. I love to have time with my kids. I love having time with my husband. Like I need a little bit of everything, right? It just felt like we were so overwhelmed with the business. That's all we talked about. So, you know, I just one day I was like, why don't we start a rental company? He's like, of what? I'm like, the closet, you know, like my closet. All my friends were coming over and they would say, oh, can I borrow your fur coat? I'm going skiing, or can I borrow your bag? I need a bag. Yeah, sure. Like it's there. Come on over. So when I approached the idea, he loved it. He's like, done. I love the idea. So then, you know, that's the wheels were in motion. We started the business plan and the business model, and we opened in 6 months. But I have to tell you, I would only recommend working with your husband if you have the right personality. My ex-husband and I are very type A. We're both extremely type A when it comes to business. It didn't work. It was just one talking over the other and one talking over the other. It's always about who was right. And that wasn't the goal. The goal was, how are we going to be successful and what are the execution and the strategies to do that? We were all just like both always fighting about, you know, he thought something was off. And I would be like, well, no, I need some time to plan those ideas. He just, men are very straightforward thinkers. They don't see gray areas at times. So that's where I think our disconnect was. And that, we were battling for years, and then finally it affected our family, our relationship, and then we got divorced. Well, you know all about that. We spoke about that for hours. But yeah, we still run the business. A lot has changed.
Well, you're still in this together.
We're still in this together. And I don't know if I told you this. We are still in business together. I still live with him and our children. We are now boyfriend and girlfriend.
Wow, this is a complicated story. Wait, it went from a woman that's a mother and a wife starting a career or continuing the career that's blooming right now because, I love what you did, first of all, because renting fashion gives so much access to people like me. People who don't have stylists, who don't have a big budget, but they want to look great. And a lot of times we just want to use it one time and never see it again.
Well, Keni, you look good in anything.
Which is an amazing.
You can put a paper bag over yourself and you look great.
Completely different story. A woman who just went through a divorce, which, happens to 70% of women statistically.
Yeah.
But beyond that, you living together and becoming boyfriend and girlfriend, this is a really a twist.
I wanted to give you a twist.
And how does that work? I lived through my divorce with my ex-husband, so I know what it is, but I'm also very good at compartmentalizing.
Yeah.
Like I can go through divorce, but at the same time, we live together and we normal people, we can talk. Some people cannot be next to each other.
They can't.
So I would imagine you have a good story that you guys can be, normal to each other and have normal dinners and lunches or whatever it is.
It wasn't normal. When I filed for divorce, it wasn't normal for anybody, right? It was a little bit of a shock to him because it wasn't like we talked about it. I just said, you know what, I'm done. I can't do this anymore. And I filed. The important thing was we were both like, okay, we will move on. Obviously, it's not working. It's hurting us mostly. And we don't want to keep arguing and not getting along and, walk like two ships have passed by, in the house and the kids will pick up on it. So for me, the most important thing is how is this divorce going to align for the kids? How are they going to take it, right? Like, is it going to consume them? Is it going to be okay? And I read up on a lot of it and they said, the most important thing is just be honest, like sit them down. And when we told our kids, they were laughing. They thought it was funny. They didn't cry. And I think for them, they thought it was like a joke. Like it was like, ha ha, April Fools, mom and dad are getting divorced. They didn't cry. And that was like, I thought to myself, wait, what's going on? Like I'm expecting children to cry, especially my daughter who was only like 12 at that age. I was very amicable with our divorce. We got divorced in 3 months, which is unheard of because I put my foot down. I said, Rob, we do not want to waste money and just give our money to the lawyers. Let's just be amicable. Let's cut everything in half. The business, everything, business is half anyways, but let's try to work this out so that we don't end up hating each other because of money.
Yes.
Because
that's the biggest mistake a lot of people do when they go through divorce, fighting for things they don't really need, but it creates that not just tension, hate, and the children see it. And the life becomes miserable for everyone.
For everybody involved.
Yes.
Not just your entire family, but your family, your husband's friends.
Even.
Yes, because we had friends that were mutual friends that we always, hung out with. Of course, we're not going to have them take sides, but it was uncomfortable for them. They didn't know where they fit in. Like, are we going out with Janet or are we going out with Rob? Like, they were very confused.
And I would imagine for your employers, like, okay, we have, because you guys together in the company, so everybody knows you. This is our two bosses.
Correct.
Like, how it's going to happen? Like, how it's going to be divided? Like, who do we answer to? I would imagine that was a very uncomfortable situation.
It was.
For everyone too.
And Rob made a choice to stop coming in for a while because he didn't want to cause any more drama in the workplace. Because, you know, again, people are very nosy. They want to know what's going on. Like, oh, he's coming in. Is she coming in? Is there going to be drama? Are they going to create drama? He didn't want that, you know, again.
It's a very smart decision.
But it happens.
Because that can break the whole business apart.
Exactly. So we had a lot of things that we were intertwined with. Business, living together, the children, our friends. I still love his family and I always will love his family. They're amazing, amazing family. So, you know, why did we get back together? And that's sometimes a question I ask myself. I would say the reason that we got back together, number one, is in the divorce settlement. We said we want the kids to be with both of us. We don't want them being transported to this house, to that house. We want to keep the house and the kids in one place. So he said, why don't you live here for 2 years? You know, we have multiple bedrooms and that way the kids could get acclimated. And once they're older, we could transition where I would move out, right? I said, I think that's a great idea. He said, plus you could save money. We could all save money and the kids would be great. They would be happy knowing that you're still here. And I said, okay, well, we could both get along as friends. And we did, right? The divorce was great. We were amicable. Everything was great. The lawyers hated it, of course. But, you know, that is what got us back together, is that the fact that I still stayed in the house. If I had left, I don't think we would be back together. I think staying in the house, it felt like it was a new chapter, like a chapter that closed, it ended, and then it was like a new book, you know, like chapter, like a new series that came out. That's what I felt like. I felt like the weight was just off my entire body, off my shoulders. We were friends. We got along. We would go out to dinner with the kids. We would still take vacations together. The business also was better because we were getting along. We would talk. One thing we did make, rule of thumb, I told him, I said, we cannot talk about business in the house or in the car.
So you finally got your boundary after you got divorced. That's a good... So if your husband was working with you and he's not following the boundary,
take him out.
Take him out.
Take him outside for a walk. Go around the block. Go to the park. That really solidified our main issue with boundaries. I said, if we talk about business, it can't be in the house because what would happen? We would fight.
Yes.
The kids are here. Can't do it in the car because I don't want to talk about work in the car. Let's talk about the kids. Let's talk about what we're doing for the next weekend. Where are we going on vacation?
I would imagine it's also hard because sometimes, you know, the whole idea of having a husband or a partner, when you come in and you tell about your problems and somebody listens, here you cannot have that because instead of listening, the other person just gives, you know, like either the feedback or advice or says, well, that's your fault.
Correct. And he's also very black and white, you know, like he's a talker. He loves to communicate. He wants to communicate about everything. And that's where he gets it from his mom. She would check up on him and talk to him every day, 2-3 times a day. He just loved to engage. I'm a little bit different. I need a little bit of peace. I need to like sort of shut down a little bit and then come back, right? I don't even really like talking on the phone. I like texting. I know it's a little weird, but I would only want to talk on the phone if it was something important. I want to talk to you in person. The phone to me sometimes, you're distracted, whether you're working, driving, you know, you're not really there sometimes, right? So the boyfriend aspect, I will tell you, sex is so much better because it's not supposed to happen. You're not supposed to have sex with your divorced ex-husband. But
well, there's no rule like that.
Yes, so. But it's not the norm, right?
It's not the norm, but lately I've been meeting people who would actually go back together after a certain amount of time. So I guess those people were meant to be together. They just couldn't figure out the path to be together. Like you knew that you wanted to be, you chose that man, but there were certain things like boundaries or certain rules that you needed in order to be together.
Yeah. And I said, listen, if we're going to do this, we have to meet halfway.
Exactly.
Right? It can't always be about what you want. And again, he's like a man. Like he loves sports. He likes to work out. Like he loves to do what men love to do. He's not in creative space at all. So his time, he loves routine. Everything that he does is literally scheduled. And I'm not that way. I love, flying at the seat of my pants. I mean, I'm like the last minute person, but I make it work for me. Like it's funny because my girls were like, okay, we're going to an event. What are you wearing? I'm like, I don't know. I just pick something off the rack and they're like, you're literally going to wear something in 5 minutes. You're going to pick something. I'm like, yeah, or I'll wear the same thing. It's just, to me, I feel like he and I have found a way to make this work. Now, I'm not saying we don't fight. We still argue. Okay. Obviously we're still a couple, right? We don't see eye to eye always, but it's the respect and communication that's so important. Like I have to be the one that starts it. Like he'll say, well, if you yell at me and get mad at me, then I'm going to be defensive. So I was like, okay. So I have to have another strategy. Like I have to sit him down and say, it's the words, it's the right words that you use, right? I tell him all the time, your approach is horrible. Can I teach you to say certain things so that it makes me feel better? He's like, will you do the same? I'm like, of course. We talk about these things. We never talked about this when we were married. We were too busy with kids. And because we got married so late, we were always busy and he was always working. Now that we have so much time together and he's not working at like a 9-to-5 job, we have a lot more time to really make this relationship work. People say, are you going to get married again?
But I also think, because me and my ex-husband, we are great friends. We don't have a relationship.
Of course.
He hears me now, which I feel like when we were married, whatever I said didn't really matter.
I felt that too.
It was his way and only his way. And I felt like because you married, men look at a woman in a different way.
Agree.
And once they divorced, they're like, okay, well, I have to listen to her.
She's still part of my life.
She's still part of my life. That's why I was like, you know what? I feel like that's why I'm like, I never want to get married. Not because of anything. I just feel like there's something in woman. Maybe it was just me that caves into a man.
Correct.
On a different level.
Correct.
And I don't know how to change myself. So I'm like, you know what? I better be safe than sorry again.
Well, you know what it is? Marriage is not always for everybody. I know people that are not married that are the happiest couples.
Yes.
They have children together, but they're not married. And to me, marriage is a contract that says you're in it together forever. You're going to be there for each other forever. But that doesn't mean you have to be married.
No.
You could still do that in a relationship.
And it doesn't guarantee the happiness you're going to have.
No, nothing guarantees the happiness, right?
Yes.
There's no guarantee that you're going to be with that one person for the rest of your life. I mean, you wrote a book. Like you said, 70% of people are divorced. And then, they get remarried. Most divorced people get remarried again. Mm-hmm. And it's not because I don't want to get married. I just don't want to go through that.
Because you have it good right now. So
Correct.
why think of it about?
Correct. And I'm old.
But what about your kids? So your kids thought it was a joke.
No. You know what they say now?
What?
If I piss them off or Rob pisses them off or they don't like what we're doing, they get weird. If I'm giving him a hug, she'll be like, why are you doing that? You're divorced. I'm like, because we still love each other. Ugh, that's so gross. And, they're just I think to them, they don't understand that we're still together because we're divorced. They're still young. But at the same time,
well, I guess their perception of divorce is how people do it because kids only see through their own experience.
Correct. Through their family.
Yes, because they don't know how divorce looks like.
They don't know.
They don't know that people go and live in separate homes and they go 50-50 like my kids do because, every time somebody says, oh, I'm from divorced family, they know how it works because that's what they do.
That's the normal.
That's the normal. But for your kids, it's probably the norm that's how it happens. The parents live together.
They're like, is this what divorce is like? We're like, no, doesn't mean, divorce doesn't mean anything. It depends on how you perceive your own divorce. Nobody cares about your life. It's your life. Live the life you want. My daughter's so funny. She's like, I just want a normal family. I'm like, oh, so we're not a normal family? I don't know. It's just, I'm confused. Not that she's confused. She's just, I just want a normal family. I said, honey, there is no normal family. Everybody has their own way of, whether it's, maybe this couple, this family's not normal because they're never home or they're raised by a nanny. Like there is no normalcy. Everybody is different. So don't say that you want a normal family because I don't really think you even understand what a normal family means. She's still young. She just rolls her eyes. But, I think the other reason we got back together is because really for the kids, we didn't want them to feel like they were alienated. We didn't want them to feel like it was their fault. And, till this day, we sit down and we tell them like, mom and dad are still together because we love each other, but we're not going to get married again. And they're like, why? Because it's not the normal thing for us. Yeah. This is what we want. And as long as you guys are happy that you have two parents who love you that live in the same house, and it's just a title. It's just a contract. Exactly. Yeah. There's nothing wrong with what we're doing. Again, they might be embarrassed at school. I said, if you're only embarrassed because you're insecure. But if you're not insecure and you're like, this is how my parents are, they love each other and this is who they are, they're not going to second guess you. You have to tell them how you feel. Don't let them guess how you're feeling.
But I know also when your kids get a little bit older, they're going to be so proud that you chose the life for yourself. You didn't do what other people do. You chose it for yourself.
Correct.
And you did what felt the best for you guys and your children, which is, amazing because so many women don't have that choice or desire or they're scared.
They're insecure.
They're insecure or, they don't even know that that's possible.
They're not, they're not educated on it. And I don't know if you could really educate somebody on divorce. Every divorce
just have to be so strong inside and really know what works for you and for your children and advocate for it.
Correct.
And if the other person is willing to do that, that's amazing.
I mean, I respect you so much for writing a book about it because that's hard to do. That's hard to do. Like, opening up about your life. Like I'm a little bit more private because a lot of people don't even know we're divorced because I don't.
We're guys back together, so you're going to confuse a lot of people.
I will.
I think you should stick to, this is my
better half.
Well, that's funny. If people before you would introduce him as a husband, now this is my boyfriend, people would be like.
They think it's hilarious.
Which is, I think it is because, it's like, and nobody, what I love about life? Nobody really needs to know the details.
Exactly.
Let them think whatever they want.
Exactly. It's more intriguing that way.
It's more intriguing and people want to know.
Yeah. They're like, wait, Janet's divorced? I didn't know she was divorced. I'm like, surprise. For years, I'm just not a person that likes to, oversaturate my personal life on Instagram or on social media.
Which nobody really needs to know, truthfully, because when other people get involved, that's where it becomes really messy.
It's drama.
It's drama.
It's drama. And people love to create drama. And let's just be honest.
But some people have no life, so they like to live through your life.
And my life isn't that great. So anybody's welcome to live through my life.
What advice would you give to a woman who is working with her husband and feeling that maybe it affects their relationship? What would you tell them to do or how to communicate to your husband that actually this is the work is the problem in their everyday life?
I would schedule. So this is what we do. We schedule a meeting every Friday at 3 p.m. And we talk about mostly finances because that's what his main concern is. And that's what, he really knows because, again, he invested in the business, right? So he's really my partner and investor. We self-funded the business. So for him, how men are, it's all about their return on investment, what's the bottom line, blah, blah, blah. And I'm different. I always don't think about what the bottom line is. I think about how can we scale? How can we pivot? How can we be different than everybody else? So that's not something he's thinking about. He doesn't understand it really, right? Like he just wants to know, how are we going to make money, right? We have a scheduled meeting every Friday. And when I come to a meeting, I come fully prepared with a document on Excel that basically gives them or him the information that he needs to know. Because I think talking about it and showing the documents or the data really helps him understand. Sometimes when you just blah, 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 so much information is stored in your brain that he doesn't always understand, because I also talk really fast. So
well, as for me, I like to see everything in writing, because then you can process at your own speed.
And he could refer to it after we talked. So that works for us. I do not like out of the blue conversations, right? And we decided we're never going to do that, because that's how we end up into big fights, especially about the business. And, the business did ruin our marriage because we didn't know how to handle being married and being in business together. I mean, we were together all the time, 24/7. We would go to the gym together, and then we would go to the office together. Then we would come home together. Then I would cook dinner, or we would go out to dinner with the kids. And we did that over and over again. The only time that we had some time for ourselves is if we had made plans to go out with our friends separately, right? Or on weekends if he had some activity or I did. But imagine you're living 24/7 with your husband, partner for 5 days straight, right? It's a lot. It's a lot.
You're going to get tired of anybody. For a person like me, I love my personal space.
I do too. Keni.
I love, there's days when I'm in the house and I have kids and I just hide in my closet for 30 minutes. I just want it dark and nobody around me.
Or if you're laying on the couch on Friday night and watching Netflix by yourself, all the kids are gone. He's out at he loves music. So he's out at a music concert, and he's also in a band. So he's really busy. And then you say, do I want to go out tonight? No, I got the house to myself. I'm just going to lay on the couch and turn on Netflix. And then I fall asleep. And then I'm feeling so much better the next day. I really love being alone. And sometimes I envy, again, grass is never green on the other side. Everybody wants what they can't have. But I love my own space. I love my own peace. I love doing things sometimes by myself. I don't even mind going to the movies or dinner by myself. It's no big deal. I do it sometimes when I travel. And it's really fun. It's I don't have to answer to anybody. And it's not like mom, honey, babe, honey, mom. I'm no, nobody's calling me mom and babe today. It's amazing. But again, everybody's different. Some people can't be alone. They have to be with people all the time. They need to have people in their house at all times. I'm ugh, no.
That's not. When you were guys going through divorce, were you more scared that it will affect your business? Or, that's a hard situation to be in. Going through divorce is already sad because you're losing, your partner. And then also your business was at jeopardy.
So
what were you worried more about? And then you have children, of course, on top of everything.
I'll be honest, I was afraid of being alone for the rest of my life.
Really?
Yeah. Because I went through this already. I was engaged for 10 years, very young, at 26. And I was engaged for 10 years and I never went through with it. And the reason that I stuck around so long, even though I did not want to be in that relationship, was because I was scared. I was I don't want to be alone at 31, 32. So I was depressed. I hated being in that relationship. And thank God I got out. And when I got out, I was partying at 33, 34, like I was 24. I would go to all the clubs. I would dress like a hoochie mama. I would let my hair down. I was going out literally all the time. And I'm oh my God, this feels amazing. I love it. Then it gets old after a while, right? You're
Exactly.
I'm 34, 35, no kids, no boyfriend. Okay, this is kind of scary. Then I just met him out of nowhere. We got set up. But I was going through that whole the emotions again.
Yes, because something you didn't heal before. now was,
It was
in
happening
the body,
again.
in your body already stored that we went through. So it was back into you feeling that what if it happens to me again?
Yes.
But at this point, you already had kids and a whole business.
Correct.
So it wasn't like you were alone.
No.
But I understand it's a body memory of that, fear you had.
Yes. And, it's interesting because a lot of my friends that are divorced, it took them years to find the second love of their life, right? I have a few that have not yet, but it's interesting because I think I'm not the person that wants to put myself out there like most girls that are divorced. They're joining all the dating apps and all of that. They want to be matched up with, their friends, husbands, friends, all that. I didn't want that. And I didn't want to put myself out there. I'm like, you know what? I'm just happy being alone. And if somebody comes my way, great. But that doesn't always happen, So I was like, okay, that was like, I think my biggest fear is, am I going to be alone for the rest of my life? And it would have been fine. It's just, I didn't want to. Like, that was scary. Am I going to find somebody else? And you never know.
Also a normal, I think. And actually, when a woman is going through divorce, that's their number one concern. It's if they're going to be alone. That's why a lot of times they decide to stay in the marriage, even they're not happy, just not to be alone.
I didn't want either. So that's why, I sat down with Rob and I was like, this is what we should do. Again, when we were separated, like I went on one date. He was, of course, he went on many dates, but it didn't feel real to me. It felt like, what am I doing?
Well, of course, if you have to go back home to your house with your ex-husband and your kids, that would feel weird.
It was weird. I never went back on another date. I canceled my entire, I was like, nope, I'm not doing this. This isn't for me. But, we were living in different floors. Like he was on the third floor. I was on the first floor. So like we were not even living on even in the same bed or in the same bedroom until we decided we were going to get back together. But also, we were both kind of also embarrassed, I think, to tell people that we were back together because we didn't know how people were going to perceive that. A lot of people think it's great. Then a lot of people are like, oh, that's so weird. But hey, if it works for you guys, it's great. And now I'm just like, I don't care what other people think. I'm happy the way I am. And
that's the most important thing for you being happy, your children and him.
Yes. And he's not a controlling person.
Which is great.
He's not like, where are you going? Who you're going with? Why are you going out every night? Which I don't go out every night. But he's not a controlling person. And that's one thing I respect him mostly is he lets me be me. He's not trying to mold me into being somebody that he wants me to be. Because men can be that way.
Oh, a lot of them like that. A lot. And that's why I think you guys went back together because you actually love the person who he is as a husband. It just needed a fine tuning to your guys' communication style.
Correct. I just didn't want to be in business with him.
Yes.
Right? Like it was frustrating at times to be in business with him. He wouldn't understand it. He would be like, well, why can't you segregate our personal life and our business? I was like, babe, it doesn't work that way for women. We're very sensitive and emotional.
Yes.
It's hard for us to separate that. We live together. We have children together. We have a business together. It's a lot of there's no separation. It's all in one. He's like, well, it doesn't have to be that way. Why can't you just treat me like I'm one of your investors and partners and just talk to me like you would them? And I'm like,
I would from 9 to 5. And from 5 on, you're my husband. So it goes the other way around.
It's so hard.
But then they cannot do that. They cannot go around that schedule.
No, they preach it and they're like,
exactly.
They don't do it. They don't preach what they're like telling you to do. And I'm like, oh, now you're being a hypocrite. Stop it. He's like, no, I can do it. I'm like, no, you can't. We both cannot. It's very difficult. Even when you're divorced and you're in business together, it's very difficult.
Well, I'm so very happy that you guys got back together. But now let's talk about fashion.
Yes.
The most exciting thing. Okay, for girls, what do you think is the most essential thing in their wardrobe?
I will say, and I don't know if you noticed this, as you walk around, a good day bag. You need a good day bag. I'm always looking for a good day bag.
What is a good day
like
bag?
a great tote that's not heavy.
Okay.
Okay, that's light. Because don't you stuff everything in your bag? Like makeup, everything you need during the day when you're working or working out.
Nah,
No?
honestly, no, because usually for me, it's either I have one bag where I'm with kids that has to fill everything. And when I'm in my fashion things, it's just the looks. It just finishes the looks. So for me, it's different. And then I have like a makeup bag, which is separate. I don't even remember when the last time I had a good day bag that can be very, it can have everything. That's why I'm like, okay, I want to know what's one good thing that women have to invest.
I would love a really good day bag that will last, like a cute day bag, something that's versatile.
I think it's also because you are between Chicago and New York.
I'm always on the road.
For girls in California, we have a whole car with stuff. I have sometimes 2 or 3 bags in my car.
Yeah. So you don't really need a day bag. Another thing is, have you noticed, I need like something that I think a woman should always invest in is a good piece of jewelry. Like I'm not a jewelry person, but something that that you can wear all the time that's special to you. Like whether if it was your husband that bought something that means something to you.
This is my divorce present.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. But this is what I mean.
You know what it is? It's a reminder of my freedom and everything I fought for. Sometimes I just look at it and I'm like, it gives me strength.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I would love to have a piece of jewelry that I can say, I bought this for myself and I bought it because I did this.
Yeah.
Or I achieved this, right? Like a reminder for me that I did something, like clothing is one thing, but a piece of something that's remembering who you are, like what made you buy that? There has to be a story, not because everybody else is wearing it. It's valuable. There's a memory component to it. As to fashion, I always say you need a really great pair of heels that is versatile, that you're comfortable in. Like you're wearing these Manolo Blahniks. They're Manolo Blahniks?
Roger Vivier.
Oh, Roger Vivier. And they're very comfortable, right?
Oh my God, they are. You know what I love? I love now at my age, I love the shoe that not just looks good, it feels good.
I can't wear shoes that look good anymore.
I used to in my 20s. I'm like, okay, who cares?
We would go to the clubs in it and dance all night.
And now I'm like, it has to feel good.
It has to be comfortable. It has to look, for me, comfort's one, and then it has to look good. And then it has to be an investment where you're going to wear it a lot. I have these Chanel booties and they're amazing. They're not high, they're not like a stiletto, but they're a black heel, but they're like sexy. And it's booty and it's got these great little bows and, has open toe, like a peep toe. I swear to God, I wear those all the time. Even if it doesn't go with the outfit, I don't care. Because they're so comfortable. And it's all about comfort. Usually, and I love having like a great pair of flats.
Yes.
I don't know if you've noticed, but thong flip-flops are back in. Have you noticed these girls wearing it?
Yes, I noticed it.
Did you notice?
It's not my favorite thing personally, especially if you're in a city. Like I was just in Paris and you cannot wear open toe shoes in Paris, especially when you walk a lot. I feel like
because you're tripping over it.
You're tripping over and it's not something, but for California, it's perfect.
Everybody's in flip-flops. Like they'll wear a pair of flip-flops with like a really cute dress.
Yes.
I've seen it with jeans. Jeans I get, right? But like you're kind of decked out and they're in flip-flops. I don't know. I think that trend is a little weird, but again, it's a trend, right? What is your investment? What are you investing in these days in fashion?
Ooh. For me, I always love shoes. It's number one thing because I feel like a great pair of shoe can make it or break it, the whole look.
1,000%.
I love blazers. I love jackets. I'm obsessed with it. I have more jackets and coats than probably anything in my wardrobe.
Wow.
Because it's especially a good fitted jacket, and you can put it with jeans. You can put it on top of, a skirt, a dress. I love jackets. Yeah.
And I love that look because I think if the jacket is long enough, you can wear like tights and wear it as a dress with a belt. I love that look, by the way.
I love
You could wear boots with it.
And the bags, I don't know. It's like Because I also go to a lot of events. Like I don't care about dresses because usually it's a one-time event.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's
One
not
and done.
something for me to invest my money in.
Yeah,
so
that's where we come in.
So exactly. So is the bags. Like, okay, a lot of times I don't even have a bag with me, but a good...
I don't either. I usually carry my phone and that's
But
it.
a good pair of shoes and a good jacket, and you can look so polished.
Yes, I agree. I'm so like done with all of these. I mean, no offense, but like I loved Birkins and Hermes bags, but I'm so over it. I'm just like, I think it's heavy.
Well, to me, when you walk into a place and every girl has it, you start thinking,
that's my perception.
Why do I want to be like everybody else?
Yes.
And as you know, in a fashion world, a Birkin and a Kelly, it's a day bag. It's not a fashion bag you can bring to an event.
No. And it's actually for like when you're going to Paris Fashion Week or if you're going somewhere where it's special, right? Like I'm not carrying a Birkin bag every day. I'm sorry. That's just not me. But if you're going to a special event or you're going on a trip like St. Bart's or if you're going on a European vacation, that's nice to have, you know? But I wouldn't carry it every day. I don't know. I'm kind of lost with bags these days. I don't know what kind of bag I want. Like I'm struggling with it.
I know. And it's so many now new designers and new shapes. That's, you know, it's very, I guess a lot of people, you know, who wants to impress people, they go for traditional Birkins or Kelly or brand name bags. But I see so many cute bags that just create a whole look for the outfit.
Correct.
And I love that. So it depends, I guess, who you are.
Correct.
The look you're trying to achieve. But what do you love about, what do you guys do the most when a woman comes to you and you put that look together? What do you love the most about your guys' company?
I love making them happy. You know, we have clients to come in and they're so stressed out. They're like, I have this big event and I'm going to like a 5-day wedding in Lake Como. And here's the lookbook. Like here, help me out. They're stressed out. Yes. I would be stressed out if I had you know, and it's like a completely, you know, well-organized color scheme, you know, the silhouettes, like it's very detail oriented. And they're like, I don't know where to go. I don't know what to do. And it makes me happy when they are stressed because I'm like, let me help you. Yeah. Let me make your problem my problem and let me fix it. So when they walk in, they're stressed. And then when they walk out, they're so relieved. But most importantly, they're so happy and thankful that you have just solved their problem that they have been stressing out about for a week. And they're like, I'm never buying anything again. I'm just going to rent. Because for me, it's not about the clothes. It's about making the women feel happy and confident. And that's when I know, okay, I did my job.
Yes, exactly. And for a lot of people who don't know, in your showroom, you have professional stylists.
Correct.
It's not just a woman comes in and says like, okay, I need this. No, there's professional people dressing you up, which I feel like a lot of times, a lot of women don't know how to dress themselves properly, or sometimes they would not pick something for themselves that looks amazing on them.
Because they don't want to come out of their shell. They're comfortable wearing black or they're comfortable wearing pink. It's funny. They come in and they're like, oh yeah, no, I'm not going to, that's not my style. I'm like, but try it on, because the hanger appeal is very different than if you tried it on. And they tried it on. They're like, oh my God, I would have never picked this out for myself. And I said, you can take the risk because it's a rental.
Exactly.
You're not investing $5,000-$6,000.
That's why I think it's amazing, because you can try different styles and see what works for you. And truthfully, even for me, I go through seasons. There's sometimes I'm like, you know what? I want to spice it up. I want to change it, which is a great way, instead of spending a lot of money on things you know you would probably never wear.
That's it.
But try it out and have something new look. That's great.
And you're also learning about maybe a designer you've never worn before.
Yes. Well, right now, especially, there's so much vintage pieces.
Oh my God. Vintage is what we do really well in New York and LA. Chicago, forget it. People are like, vintage? Is that like the garage sale? Chicago's a little, they're a little slow.
Midwest.
Yeah, Midwest. They're a little slow on fashion.
But yes, vintage now.
Vintage.
So
that's all anybody wants to wear. All the socialites, all the celebrities, it's all about vintage. Why? Because you can't buy it.
Yes.
It's not available. And if it is, it may not be your size, or it's $20,000, $30,000 for a dress. So, the Kardashians can buy it and all these, very well-known celebrities can afford it. But mostly celebrities don't really buy anything anyways. They have a stylist and they all pull. So it's interesting, the rental business, because it's not just capturing one market. It's a sustainable business, but you're really targeting multiple sectors in the customer segment, right? Like, it's not just people, it's the celebrities, it might be the studios, models. It's like a lot of different people and just normal people, like I have clients that are size 10 and 12 and they come in and they're like, I don't think you have my size. I'm scared you don't have my size. I'm like, well, you know what? You never know. You think you're a 10 or 12, but you might fit into an 8. You never know. And they're so happy. They're like, I can't believe I fit into this. So it's all about educating the clients as they walk in. You want to make sure that they feel comfortable. We literally hold their hand through the whole process. We tie their shoes. We zip them up. I'm like putting pads in their, bra so that I make them move their chest so that it can fit into a dress. It's really about knowing the clients. I know the clients as soon as they walk in. I'm like, you're a size 4 and you're 5'7". They're like, how do you know? I'm like, I've been doing this for a long time. I can scan you head to toe. And then they trust you, because then they're like, oh my God, this girl knows what they're doing, So I love it. I just love people. I love being around people. I love talking to new people that I don't know. I love, it's like kind of like a little mini therapy session. They talk about
which
their problems.
clothing is a therapy. Especially when
that's true.
When you feel good and you see yourself and you look good.
It's therapeutic.
It's so therapeutic. And especially, it's like the girls that work with you, for you. They're amazing. They styled me so many times in LA, in New York, like a lot of times they're like, okay, can you try this dress? I'm like, But then I'm like, I'm loving it. We created so many red carpet looks that were like,
you looked insane in all of them.
Memorable.
Yeah.
And, like for another woman, I always feel like no matter how confident I am, I love when your girls like, Keni, you look amazing. To hear somebody say that, it's actually so important.
Or like people that are in other clients.
Or like somebody's opinion. Like
correct.
It's like you feel like you're not alone.
1,000%. And fashion it's a statement, right? Like if you wear beautiful clothes, you're making a statement. But most people don't know you're doing it for yourself. It makes you feel good. Right?
Yes.
Like if you're going to a big event, you want to look good, not only for other people, right? So that you can get their attention. And it's also a conversation piece, which most people don't understand. If you're wearing something that you're confident in, people will notice and they will converse with you. It's about, oh, I love your dress. I get that all the time. I love your dress. It's a way to connect with people sometimes. Because, sometimes when you go to an event, it's a little cold, you don't know everybody. And then you're like, oh, this girl just came up to me and said my dress was amazing. And she was so nice. It's always nice to make somebody smile. Right? It's nice to make somebody
in this life, truthfully, because it's hard for everybody. Just a little smile and a compliment.
That's it.
And that's all we want.
That's all. That's it.
And on this note, unfortunately, I have to say thank you for coming.
Oh, you're so sweet.
The time went too fast.
I know. It always goes by fast when you're having fun.
Does. But thank you so much, Jeanette, for coming.
Oh my God, thank you,
sharing
Keni.
not only your story, but giving us tips about fashion. Thank you.
Thank you for having me. You're the best.
You.
Good to see you again.
Good to see you.